And welcome to the podcast. My name is Colin Hunziker, and today I'm going to be talking about why this channel is mainly going to be devoted to sports. As many of you probably know, I am a student athlete here at school, so that's part of my life. I mean, that's probably the reason why I am who I am. So, getting into why I started playing sports, when I grew up, my dad, he played sports in high school. My mom, she played sports in high school. And it's just one of those things that you want to see your kid do, especially when you did it in high school. And growing up, my dad coached me in a lot of my things. I mean, he coached me with my basketball team when I was younger. He helped with the football team, a t-ball team. I mean, those are just things that just really help with the parent-son bonding there for us. And I grew up playing with all my friends. I mean, we live in a small town, so it's the same kids playing all 3 or 4 sports that they can. And I feel like that brought us all closer, of course. I mean, spending every day, every game day, every practice together, traveling. And that's something I absolutely love about sports, is traveling. And right now I think about traveling with my travel baseball team when I was younger. We went to hotels, bigger cities, really nice fields, something that we don't have here in this small town. And it was just something really nice for the players, the coaches. Everyone enjoyed it. You played teams that you've never heard of. You just went to places that you've never seen. And I mean, you played the sport, which is what we love to do. And now in high school, we've got these bus rides, 3.5 hours to St. Louis to play teams, that we'd never imagined playing. And it's just stuff like that kind of builds character, brings the team closer together and just brings you some of the best memories that you're not going to have without playing sports. And in all fairness, I feel like that shaped me as a person. Doing what I want to do in high school has made me a happier person than, not doing what I wanted to do and watching everyone else do it. So I feel like sports plays a big part in my life, especially when it comes to schooling itself, because grades are eligibility to play. So when you think about eligibility, obviously you want to be able to play the sport, but if you don't have good grades, you can't do it. And there's a lot of kids that struggle in school and they don't always have motivation and stuff, but sports can completely turn their education around 100% for the better. And I've seen it happen. I mean, even with classes I struggle with, sometimes I just feel like, well, why do I have to do this? But I got to do it to play. And, when you want to play that bad, you'll do just about anything to be able to. So I feel like that's one of the great things. And relationships with coaches, like getting a good coach is just something that will make the sport 1,000 times better for you. I mean, you will always remember how much you love the sport when you get a good coach. And they can absolutely make your high school sports career so much better. I mean, going on the road, there's coaches that'll go on the buses with you guys. I mean, most do. But they listen to music with you. They play with you guys. They practice with you guys. Our coaches, they practice with us. They suit up. They hit, man. It is one of the most fun things to see guys that used to play in high school get suited back up and play with some of the upcoming high school players and have, what seems like the time of their life at the moment. So it's just one of those things, it never really leaves you unless you want it to. And going off of that, there's players that graduated last year, 2 years ago, that still come back to watch all of our home games. I mean, they've even made away games this year. Right now I'm talking about football players. We've had basketball players that go to college that still manage to watch some of the high school games because, I mean, this is what they grew up doing. This is what they love and loved as a kid. I mean, a lot of people say that sports shouldn't be your job or career option, but I mean, if it's something that you can devote your life to and absolutely love doing every single day, then I feel like it is something that you would want to do after high school. And we have kids that have gone to college to play sports, and they are some of the happiest kids that come out of the school system. And a big part of the reason that they were so happy and they always wanted to come back to watch the younger kids or the upcoming high schoolers play was the community. Here in Clark County, we just have probably one of the best Midwestern, tri-state communities you could ask for. I mean, we have had people travel 3.5, 4 hours to games to watch. Everyone comes to the home games. Everyone loves the sport. whether you grew up playing them, whether you didn't. It's just a community thing. And the kids are always so motivated by that. I mean, every single home game, you are just bound to look into the stands, and that is what drives you to keep going. And that's what it was for those college kids now. Some of the freshmen, sophomores in college coming back, they grew up having the stands watch them, and now they're watching the younger kids from the stands. So it's kind of a whole turn on life there for them, but something they wouldn't change for anything. Hitting back on the subject of growing up with all my teammates, I have watched so many of them mature, including myself, of course, and we've gotten so much closer through sports. I mean, with sports, winning, obviously something you love to do, but you have to win together to be a successful team, and losing is the best and worst thing to come out of sports. The best for maturing and learning what you did wrong, correcting mistakes, and the worst because, it will bring people down and bring them apart, and it happens to every single team regardless of age. So I think that when you do all those things together, it just makes an inseparable bond between 10, 11 guys, and that is something, we've been together all through high school, all through middle school, and it's just something that is probably not going to break until maybe we graduate. Even at that, we live in a small town. A lot of people, when they go to college, they all come back. So that just creates understandings of people and really long-lasting friendships. And I feel like sports is something that can teach you discipline, punishments when you screw up, not hardcore punishments, but just the simple things, right? Discipline, responsibility, always having whatever you need on time, just like school. It's just one of those things, coaches will punish you if you do not listen. And sports just kind of sets you up for the real world. There's going to be failure. There's going to be things that you cannot control that happen. And sometimes it's going to go great for you, and you're going to have to learn to be extremely happy with it. And that just comes naturally when things are going well. But it's a huge, huge morale booster for people, and it can teach you really great things when it's not. Another huge part of sports, mainly in high school, that a lot of people overlook is weightlifting. And weightlifting has been one of the greatest things for me. My freshman year, I didn't really like it. I wasn't very big. I was maybe 140 pounds, not much muscle. I wasn't necessarily weak, but I wasn't where I wanted to be. And I just didn't like weightlifting. I just thought it was stupid to just move a bunch of weight around. But over time and during the summers when I started lifting, it became something that was absolutely necessary and something that I wanted to do as much as possible. And weightlifting is kind of its own thing where you don't compete with anyone else. It's just yourself. And that is where you determine your wins and losses. And that can be one of the most humbling and great things for you to experience. Because when you lift, it is all about you, your weight, your sense of urgency, and everything else like that. It is just all you. So I lifted for about a year or so during the summer and the end of my freshman year, and all through my freshman summer to sophomore year. And it paid off. I was so much happier with the way that I was. I started gaining muscle, and weightlifting is another discipline thing. If you don't do it whenever you're supposed to, like your schedule is, you will lose everything that you've gained. And it is such a good thing for kids. It keeps you in track. It keeps you happier. It will teach you to succeed all by yourself. So I started gaining muscle. I started getting stronger. I started becoming more disciplined, getting harder workouts. And just overall, I became more confident and just happy because in the weight room, PRs, personal records, you want to get stronger. And once you see the improvement, it is one of the best things for your morale. You just, there isn't a better feeling at the time or for a long time afterwards. So athletes all lift at our school, and it makes us a better high school team. Kids are stronger, kids are happier, kids are more disciplined, and we work out together. So we push one another. That's another thing about our school. We push one another. And that is absolutely crucial for a good team. Nobody can ever quit on another guy. So basically, all I'm trying to tell you is that high school sports is something that has changed my life completely. I really don't know where I would be at without them. And that's not being a dramatic statement. That is me saying, truly, I'm not sure what I would be or who I would be if I didn't play high school sports. This has made me who I am. Every experience shapes you. So that's kind of why these podcasts are just going to relate to sports most of the time, because that's what I know. That's what I do. Probably going to touch on weightlifting a little bit, but just for today, I just want to introduce you guys to why I focus on sports so much. So thank you for joining in.